Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. If you're like me, it doesn't take that long to get quite an array of equipment that you need to keep track of all the parts and maintenance items for. Well, I've come up with a way that has simplified my life. You'll never have to go searching for the information, the parts, or where to order things from. Again, stay tuned and I'll show you how I do it. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. We have lots of different equipment around here, things that are both electrical, they're in the shop, sizable equipment, as well as things for the yardscape. That includes a lot of small gas engine powered equipment like a riding lawnmower, a chipper shredder, a walk behind tiller, those kind of pieces of equipment, or chainsaws even. So, but when it comes time to order parts for them or to keep them properly maintained on an annual basis, like let's say to winterize them, it can get quite burdensome trying to keep track of not only the information of what is needed, but where you ordered it from, and things like oil capacity, spark plug specifications, and all those sort of things. Well, after beating my head against the wall for many, many years, I've come up with this system that has changed my life related to these and made me a better tool and equipment owner, and I hope it does the same for you. There are 4 parts to this, but don't worry, it's not complicated. They all feed each other and they're intuitive. So next time you go looking for parts, you know exactly where they are because you're using what you describe these things as. The first component is I always create in my Google contacts or whatever contact you have, just create an entity of that piece of equipment. So literally I have a person, that's kind of weird, named MTD 8 horsepower chipper shredder. And the piece of equipment has all of the important information listed below. Stuff like when I bought it, how many horsepower it is, any serial numbers, model numbers. And then I go into specifications, things like where the air filters came from. Now, this particular one's an older machine. It's made, the engine that runs it is a Tecumseh. Tecumseh is no longer made, so you have to go and find aftermarket or boutique type of suppliers. And once you find those, you don't want to have to go looking again every year. So I record that information, what the model number was, spark plug equivalents. So, different manufacturers many times interchange with each other just fine. You may get some kind of weird or unique thing, but generally speaking, if you can find something in Champion, you can find it in Bosch, you can find it in GK, and whatever is most handy to you and most readily available, you list all that information as well. And then I like to also put into this listing oil capacities, any filters like oil or fuel filters, but oil capacity is always helpful and type. And then I also like to note any tools that are needed or socket sizes. So I hate going out and trying multiple spark plug wrenches. I'm sorry, I'm not a master mechanic. And so I misestimate who wants to keep running back and forth between their toolbox or grabbing additional items. I simply note what the spark plug wrench is, or any specialized wrenches I know, like to open the oil plug, to drain the oil. All that is noted right there in this. So this is the virtual world right there, but I make it the tangible, real world by doing a couple things. One, I print out this sheet and keep the latest edition in a tub that matches this. So this is the MTD 8 horsepower chipper shredder. Well, there we go. We got the MTD chipper shredder. And inside of this unit, I have a printout of the sheet that I was just showing you, plus the spark plug wrench size. So in the field, it's ready to go. And then all of next year's changeovers. I've already done all the changeover for this year. So there's the the air filter. This particular unit doesn't use an oil filter, but it does have a fuel filter, so that's in there. The spark plugs for next year are all there. And so whenever I use up something, I go ahead and order a set, have it ready for next year. So when winterization comes on, we are ready to go. So everything there is in the tub along with this spec sheet. So those are stored in our outbuilding where everything is ready to grab off of the shelf and ready to go. There's 3 more components to this that make it really easier. One, if you have generic parts that are for small gas engines or for the type of things you need a maintenance every year, then this kind of organizer really works, like with fuel line clips, low pressure clips, specialized oil plugs, gas shutoff valves, all that sort of thing. You can keep these and this becomes your working inventory instead of having to run down to the parts store in the middle of a repair or service. The next component is that I just keep a notebook with these items listed in it, of each item. So here's the Club Cadet rototiller, the sheet there. There's also a whole instruction manual, the parts breakout and exploded parts diagram. That's all right there. Everything that I need for that is kept in this notebook. And then there's one last thing that I do to make this bulletproof for me, and that is if there's opportunity on the piece of equipment itself to label what size tool or wrench you need, where it's not going to weather off and it'll be there safely, I do so. Let me show you what I did right on this air compressor right here. So on this particular air compressor, I know that hex key needs to be a 5/16. So next time I go to change out the oil, add oil and drain it, etc., I won't have to look that up. I can just look right there, grab the right wrench first off and go to work. It makes it really easy. Since we're all about making it easier to service and to use yard equipment, we mentioned earlier that we have a lawn tractor. Well, we found this great little accessory you should check out that is a turning knob that goes on the steering wheel that makes it a lot easier to steer, counter steer, and just reduces fatigue. Check that out. And while you're at it, check out this other video that YouTube thinks is perfect for you, and we think you're going to enjoy it too. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay, feeling a lot better about being really organized.